Brady. Thanks so much. Let's make this one the best interview. And we would love to learn more about BioCorRx and Fresh Start program and your involvement with the program.
Okay. Well, it's the Start Fresh program, so that, I know it gets confusing.
Yes, start fresh.
Our old name was Fresh Start Private, and we changed it earlier in the
Uh-huh.
year. But the Start Fresh program was a program that was created by BioCorRx. We're a publicly traded company, and we own the worldwide rights to a proprietary implant of a drug called naltrexone that's used in addiction. Along with that, we have created a coaching program that goes along with that implant. So it's a two-pronged approach to treating addiction. Naltrexone has been around since the 60s. It was FDA-approved about 30 years ago for opiate abuse, and then about 20 years ago for alcohol abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in the pill form. And the drug works really well, but patients are just non-compliant and don't take it. So what we have in this implant form is an opportunity to take that compliance issue away. So it's surgically implanted in the abdomen, and the drug slowly releases over several months. That way, the patient doesn't need to decide every day whether they're going to take the drug or not. It's already in them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first part of the program is having that naltrexone implant put into them by a trained physician.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that takes place, they will enter the coaching phase of the program, which will take about 6 to 8 months on average. Everyone's situation is different. And in that coaching part of the program, which and sometimes includes some counseling, they will address the psychosocial issues of their addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Because addiction does affect the physical body as well as mentally. So
Absolutely.
it treats both parts of that addiction.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Start Fresh program in a nutshell, and there's a lot more information on our website at startfreshprogram.com if anyone wants to learn more about the program itself. There's a lot of information there.
Are you the only one? You are the only company that has rights to this implant?
For this specific implant that we use, it's a long-lasting implant. It's longer than most of them that you can find out there in the U.S. or worldwide. We have the rights to it all over the world except for New Zealand and Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Implant. There are other implants that have been around for over a decade or so. Most of the implants that you find out there may last 2 to 3 months, which is still a better alternative to taking it orally. But our implant tends to last 6 to 12 months on average. Depends on the patient's metabolism and other factors, so it's not like a specific set period.
Yeah.
But ours tends to last that longer period. And a lot of research on naltrexone in general shows that 6 months is a very crucial period for someone to have coverage of naltrexone.
Mm-hmm.
6 to 12 is that crucial period. So if you can have someone go through this with getting one surgical procedure as opposed to multiple, then your success rate should be better because people don't want to get multiple surgeries if they don't have to. So
Absolutely.
That is a little bit of an advantage that we have over some of the other implants that are out there, is that ours, the length of time that it lasts. And we're also coupling it with a coaching program that we developed specifically for this. Mm-hmm. So we're keeping both of them in one overarching program. Mm-hmm. So we do have some differentiating traits for how we're doing, how our model is being utilized.
Absolutely. And after the implant has been inserted, do they need to then uninstall it, or it just dissolves in 12 months?
Good question. No, it's 100% biodegradable.
Okay.
So it's like when you get stitches the biodegradable stitches that just dissolve over time.
Yeah.
The implant will physically dissolve over those several months, and it doesn't have to be removed. It goes away.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. That's a great new technology.
Yeah, it's helped a lot of people. It's very fascinating.
And on average, how long do the patients go through your coaching program to see improvements?
Well, like I said earlier, everyone's situation is different. The program is tailored to last about 6 to 8 months on average. That's the coaching part of the program, not the implant. You have the longevity of the implant, which can be several months, and it depends on the patient's metabolism. And then you have the actual coaching program that works in concert and that usually lasts 6 to 8 months and includes varying degrees of coaching sessions. Depends on the patient. Some people, work through the sessions faster. Some people need more sessions, but it usually on average lasts 6 to 8 months. And if people get through that program for 6 to 8 months and complete the program, that's where we're seeing the highest success rates, because the implant itself, while seems like the sexy part of all of this, it's really just a tool that will give someone a window of time to really get down to the issues of why they were using or drinking to begin with, and work on that part. So it's because the implant's going to wear off, and then once that happens, they need to have those tools in place to when those triggers arrive, so they can get it done. So it's a tool, and then also the research shows that over the course of time, about 6 months. Starts at 3 months, maybe around 6 months or so, the brain starts to actually rewire itself. So that's another thing that happens in the brain during that period of time. But the implant is not a silver bullet.
Absolutely, yeah. But it's amazing that you guys offer a coaching program that works on all kinds of psychological issues, on a root cause. Yeah.
It's actually the coaching and counseling that they receive after the implant is actually the most important part. I mean, develop those tools.
Yeah. So if somebody is not in California, if somebody is somewhere in the middle of nowhere, how do they find a practitioner who can help them and insert an implant?
Well, I mean, right now we're trying to expand as quickly as possible to make the program as readily available as possible to the masses. A little over a year ago, there was only one clinic in Santa Ana, California that was using the Start Fresh program. And since that time, we've until last week, we're now up to 10 locations around the country that are now using our program. We have 3 in California. There's 1 in Arizona, Las Vegas, Nebraska, Oklahoma City just opened, Chicago, or near Chicago, at Atlanta, Georgia, and also in Connecticut. We're starting to get a good distribution out there. Our goal is to have locations eventually where it's at least an hour drive or an hour flight away from someone, because this program, it's very private, it's outpatient, so someone can come in to get the procedure done, and they can then do their coaching via Skype, like we are now, if necessary. It's not the preferred choice, but we do have those circumstances where people do want to fly in to get the program, get the procedure, and then do their coaching via Skype. But it's always best face-to-face. But so that's why we want to get that distribution footprint out there, because we think that's vital to have, because the coaching part is so important, and I think it's better if it's done face-to-face.
Absolutely.
So that's our goal, is to get a bigger footprint out there so it's readily accessible to the masses. We're getting
Great. How long does the procedure last? How long is the procedure?
The procedure itself will take about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the surgeon. I mean, each surgeon, different locations do it differently. There are surgeons, they have different techniques, but it usually takes 20 to 30 minutes for the procedure. And then there's prep time, and there's time afterward in recovery room. So someone can get this done in a half day, of their time. So someone can maybe take a half day off of work, or take a day off of work, have this done, or even do it on a weekend. Some facilities do Saturday, never this work, and then you have your coaching taking place at your own pace with the person's life coach.
Yeah.
So it really can be done in complete privacy without anyone ever needing to know that you are in treatment, because a lot of people can't not only afford to go to a 30, 60, 90-day inpatient facility, but they also can't leave their job for that long without losing their job, or they don't want to go that way away that long, because if you go away for 30 days, let's face it, people will put 2 and 2 together and figure out why you're gone. So for those people that want complete privacy, this is a really good alternative that has very, very high success rates.
Yeah.
But it's also an alternative for those who want to remain completely private.
Wow, that's amazing. So, what is the vision for your program and for your company for the next 5 years?
Wow, 5 years. Well, as I said earlier, hopefully in 5 years we have enough penetration in the marketplace that it is a half hour, an hour drive away from most people
Yes.
that want to get the program. So that's would be the goal for 5 years. Have multiple locations around the country, and more importantly, helping thousands or tens of thousands of people, because the program really works.
Mm-hmm.
Excited about that. It's very exciting when you have a product that works so well, and you just
Mm-hmm.
you want to scream out loud and let everybody know that it's available.
Yeah.
So in 5 years, I expect to see us having massive coverage around the country, possibly even being being in other countries, Canada or Mexico or the UK. That's a little ways off. I mean, we have so much to tackle here in the U.S. There's enough problems here, and we need to help people in our own backyard.
Yeah.
That's where I see the company going in that time frame.
Mm-hmm. When you said the program works so well, do you have a numbers? What is the success rate?
Well, the success rates in the programs it's very subjective numbers, so
Yeah.
we have to be careful with those success rate numbers. We have to rely on subjective data that we receive from the individual clinics, because we do not have the patient contact; they do.
Oh,
So
okay.
what they report to us is those people who complete the program get all the counseling sessions. At 6 months, 1 year, 18 months, 2 years, when they do routine interviews, they keep in touch with a lot of patients, and they're seeing that the success rate can be 85, 90% of those people that complete the program. But with the caveat that those are the people that also remain engaged. There are some people that are so private that
Yes.
when they get the program, they complete the program or they get the implant and maybe not finish the program. But you have those that they just go right off into the sunset, and you don't have that communication with them. So we have to rely on the data that we receive from them,
Mm-hmm.
ongoing communications with their patients. So we like to say, and how do you say this is a success? At what point is it successful? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if someone's sober the rest of their life, yes, that's a success, but it's unrealistic to track someone forever. So we have to look at what do we consider a success, and it would be at the 1 year point. So the way we look at it is at 1 year point, if someone is still doing fantastic and off the and on the wagon after, we have to consider that a success, because there's not very many people that you can stay in touch with after a year or 2 years. I mean, they've moved on.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question, it's really hard to pinpoint an exact scientific success rate, because there's so many variables to it.
Absolutely. Brady, you mentioned that your company is a publicly traded company, and recently, I think a few days ago, you had big news with your company. Would you share that?
Yeah, absolutely. We are publicly traded. Our ticker symbol is BICX. We announced last week that we opened Oklahoma City, which I talked upon before. So that's open, and that got us to 10 clinics. But after that, we announced that we just signed an agreement with 3 gentlemen that are part of a company: John Ohanessian, Joe Volpe, and Ron Carvino. And these guys are seasoned professionals in the advertising, marketing, and healthcare arena. Mm-hmm. John Ohanessian is the former CEO of Bosley Inc., the Bosley Hair Club, that everyone you see everywhere. And he was at the company for 20 or 22 years as president and CEO, and took that company from a handful of locations up until I think 90 or so locations, and subsequently the company was sold a few years ago to a public company. So we were happy to have him on board with his experience with running a retail medicine facilities. So we're in a different industry. It's not not hair restoration, but in terms of the model of how we're structured, there are some similarities. We're excited to have his expertise on board. And then Ron Carvino is a marketing expert and built up many companies and sold them. So he's also worked with Bosley in the past with their marketing. And Joe Volpe is also a conversion expert and works with call centers and such. So together, they're a very sophisticated team that we're looking forward to working with. And the plan is for us to acquire a management company, or create a management company that's going to manage the clinics that are opening around the country. Mm-hmm. Right now, we distribute our program to the clinics, and that's our main revenue source. But now this is going to create another revenue stream for BioCorRx in the form of management fees that the management company is able to get from assisting the clinics around the country and operating them.
Mm-hmm.
We're excited about that because it creates a new revenue stream, but it also will hopefully ramp up the speed of how soon clinics get open, which will feed more patients into the pipeline. So it's going to increase that business model as well of the program sales.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, what's great about this is it's more people will be helped.
Yes.
That's we're doing this. It's a great business to be in. Unfortunately, there's a huge problem in addiction.
Yeah.
So it's a great business from that perspective, but ultimately our goal is to help a lot of people and put yourself out of business. I mean, that's what we strive to do, is put ourselves out of business, even though that's kind of hokey, but that's what we want to do. We want to treat someone one time and never have to treat them again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's kind of our mission, is to treat as many people as possible, and they're going to help us treat as many people as possible. And on the business side of things, there's a reward for doing so if people are on the public side of the company, the business side.
Yeah, and I'm sure for your patients, the reward is so much higher than the investment they make, because it's really changing their lives. So
yeah, I mean the cost of the program at the clinic level, it varies from clinic to clinic, but pound for pound, it's more efficient than anything else we've seen out there, comparatively speaking, because of the high success rates.
Yeah.
And it's a 6 to 8 month program, is stretched out. But yeah, I mean most of these addicts that come to us, I mean, they've spent way more than the program costs, and it's the stories that you hear from individuals that come in, and the things that they've tried until they got to us. It's amazing. And then when you hear someone say, "This was a miracle. This was my miracle," it drives you even more. It's ultimate reward that you change one individual's life, and it just keeps you going. So we want to help as many people as possible.
Absolutely. It's amazing. You guys are doing such an amazing job for those people. So is there anything else, Brady, that we should let know our listeners about your program, and maybe about your something new that's coming?
Well, I mean, what's new is coming is what we just announced. So I look forward to a very busy 2015. 2014 was very busy with the growth we had. Now we expect 2015 to kind of go into hyperdrive with all the things that we're setting up for now. So I would just have people look out for us to have a wider footprint, and hopefully start seeing us more in general media, and just seeing the name start more out there in the general population. So we're excited about 2015. If people want more information on the program itself, for help for themselves or a loved one, Start Fresh program is a great place to go and start there. There's a lot of information there. There's also a list of all of the locations around the country that use our program. They can easily find that clinic that might be nearest them, and call them directly for help. And then anyone who's interested on the business side of our company, the best place to go is to BICXcorp.com. That's our investor relations website. It's BICXcorp.com. And again, those two websites will give give someone all the information they need. There's a lot of frequently asked questions about the program, about naltrexone, about the implant. There's a lot of information there.
Great. Thank you so much.
I'm through.